Today we live in an increasingly globalized society. The internet and global capitalism has allowed for interactions between diverse groups of people in economic and social ways that are previously unprecedented in human history. It used to take months and months for a letter to travel from one side of the country to the other, much less around the globe. Today you can do that almost instantaneously with email. But some are resistant to this idea. This system of global capitalism has seen some people left behind. And this has fueled the far right movement that has swept across Europe and the United States. They want to go back to the way things were. They want to resist this globalized society. And that's the wrong way to go about this. And I think our reading, that's the wrong way to get a harmonious society. And I think our reading this semester demonstrates this very well, even though now the far right say they have been left out. Previously, as the reading demonstrates, other groups were being left out long before this. We see this play out in three particular readings we did: the A Raisin in the Sun, A Migrant Farm Worker's Son, and FOB by David Wayne. So I want to talk about those, and I kind of want to demonstrate how these three things are connected, and why the internet and the globalized society is the key to finally developing a society that works for everyone. So first, A Raisin in the Sun. A Raisin in the Sun shows a impoverished black family that has been struggling economically their entire lives due to policies like Jim Crow and other racially driven economic policies. These this is done because the system of manufacturing that we have at the time relies on cheap labor. Um, you can't produce cheap goods if the labor costs a lot of money, so you create a situation in which you have a permanent class of cheap labor. We see this play out today in the private prison industry. The reason why 1 in 3 black men will go to jail in their lives is because there has to be somebody to work in the factories. That's why employers ask if you've been convicted of a felony, to kind of force these other people to go work in a particular industry. And we see the same forces at work when it comes to migrant immigrants. We read in the Migrant Immigrant Son that about people who had to come over here and they're working in harsh conditions for meager pay, and they do so because global capitalism means that food has to be cheap. So these people who are coming over to pick food for us, um, they have to be paid low wages and corners have to be cut in order to in order to keep the price of the food down. But but they still come here because global capitalism has pilfered their countries for their resources and their manufactured goods. And that's why in David Huang's FOB, we see three children of Chinese immigrants who have come over here seeking a better life. But unfortunately, when they get here, they arrive in a society that again has racial segregation for Asian people through like the Chinese Exclusion Act, and other legislation related to wages that help keep Chinese labor cheap, because we have to build our railroads. So these stories demonstrate that even back before the globalization, people were being left behind. But the internet allows us to change all that. Social media, email, this instantaneous communication allows working class people in Mexico, in Harlem, in China, and in France, and Germany, and Britain, and Australia, and throughout Africa. It allows us to unite and to demonstrate that we are all going through the same problems. The same forces are all at work on us, and it allows us to organize and to help change things for the better. And I hope that's the lesson y'all take away from this semester: is that we're all going through the same problems. Globalization and interdependency allows us to change those problems. Thank you.